What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new career mode episode. This is round number 14 here for the Italian Grand Prix. As you can see, after our win in Spa, we managed to get the lead of the championship once again. Pascal has moved himself inside the top 3 as well, so our teammate is very quickly becoming a dangerous threat for this championship. We've got another upgrade part going on the car ready for the start of this race, and that is a upgrade to the drag reduction. So we should be in even better position heading into Monza with a slightly faster top speed. So as you can see here, once again in Friday practice, we've got some rain. So hopefully today we can avoid crashing out in an intermediate riddled session. But as you can see here, for the first time ever in this career mode series, I've actually managed to do a purple lap there, like hitting every single marker or gate in the track acclimatization test. So I was actually really happy to do that, but now this is the end of practice 1. Same session, it's all dried out very quickly after the start of the session. I'm doing a qualifying pace run on the super soft tyres. As you can see, this is actually my second lap of the session after I did track acclimatization. So jumping straight into the deep end here on a set of super soft tyres, and it's looking really good at the moment. 5/10 up on the target time set by the team, and you'd have to say that this is going to give us a purple score. Now, I don't get a purple score all too often when it comes to these qualifying pace runs, but this one is an absolute banger, and it puts us to the top of the table for the practice 1 result. So heading into qualifying, we are well and truly on the pace, and the top speed as well. Like, we've got this car fully upgraded now, engine, drag reduction, weight reduction, everything. It's a monster in a straight line, and you'll see more of that over the course of this weekend. But it's time for qualifying.
The pit lane will be open shortly, which means it's nearly time for qualifying for the Italian Grand Prix here in Monza.
So after the pace that we showed in practice, I think it goes without saying that we made it out of qualifying 1 very easily. 3rd place in that session. Pascal not too far behind me in 5th place as well. So we're going to move swiftly on to qualifying 2 now, where we're going to qualify on the soft compound tyres for this Italian Grand Prix and give ourselves 2 shots on the super soft tyres in qualifying 3. Give ourselves a bit of a strategy advantage heading into the race as well, with the option to do 1 less stop. So our very first run and only run of that session got us into 2nd place, and for the rest of the session we just decided to sit back and watch and see how the others got on, see if I could learn anything, because I was, really focused this weekend. I really wanted to build some momentum, and so I thought I'd watch some of the other drivers and how they approach qualifying, and we saw that Pascal got blocked on one of his laps, and he had to do a 2nd lap on super soft tyres. So Pascal, not an ideal situation there. He's going to be starting on some tyres that have got a bit of tyre wear on them, but we make it through to qualifying 3. Both the Ferraris opted to qualify on the softs as well, and so too with Max Verstappen. So it was quite a common or a popular strategy, more popular than what I thought it was going to be, starting on the softs for the race. So it's going to be interesting to see how that affects the race in terms of race strategy. You'll have to wait and see. But this is qualifying 3 now. Doing our first run here on the super soft tyres. Looks like a very solid lap so far, running through the final corner. Parabolica in 5th gear. Took me a long way into the weekend to realise that 5th gear was a much better platform to use to exit the final corner, but we go 1st place at the end of that lap, a 21 flat, and a few tenths clear of Kimi Räikkönen in 2nd place with only 20 seconds left to go in the session. We're doing another run, really just to secure our pole position, really, because we don't really have anything else really to go for, because we're already 1st place and we're just looking to better our current lap time at the moment. But some very aggressive use of the curbs through turns 1 and 2, and again through 4 and 5 there, the 2nd chicane, and cost us a little bit of time. You can see we're down on our previous lap, now running through the Ascari chicane for the final time. I was really just trying to make up that lost ground, and we got caught up on the curve there. A bit of a messy lap, and that was the end of it. So 1st place for the Italian Grand Prix, 2nd pole position in a row, and yeah, I was just so ecstatic about that. To carry that momentum that we gained in Spa, it's now translated over into Monza now. So we need to take these opportunities, because we've got some tracks coming up like Singapore where we might not be so strong, And yeah, just looking to extend that lead in the championship if we can. We've got Pascal starting in 4th place, so he's going to be very, very dangerous. The Mana is so quick in a straight line, and it's going to be tough to beat in the race.
The Italians love their cars, and they love their racing. And of course, they love it here at Monza. Home race for Ferrari, of course, who've had 18 wins here since 1950. But you know, there's not been so much luck for the locals in the cockpit recently. The last Italian driver to win this race was back in 1966. So what now? I think it's time to make some more history here today.
You've done well to put it on pole, but we've still got work to do. Trying to cover the inside line off the start.
I like that mentality from the engineer. Like, the job is definitely not over yet. We've got pole position. We've put ourselves in possibly the best seat in the house to take the victory of this Italian Grand Prix. So, the focus is going to be on a good start. You can see the race strategy there, a 3-stop. That is really, really weird. At maximum, want to do 2 stops. So, if anything, I'm going to drop that super soft tyre stint for this race. Unfortunately, in the race strategy, I couldn't get rid of that. I couldn't figure out how to do that. So, I'll just try and extend the life of the tyres in the 1st and 2nd stints, and then we'll see how the tyre wear goes from there, really. I think if you're really nice to your tyres as well, you can probably get away with a 1-stop. So we'll have to wait and see how this race goes. Starting from 1st place, we've got Wehrlein in 4th. He's definitely going to be one to watch in this race with the straight line speed that this Mana is boasting this weekend. 5 red lights and away we go for this Italian Grand Prix. And it looks like a very, very nice start. So smooth, nice getaway, absolutely no wheel spin. And we lead uncontested through turns 1 and 2, the first chicane. Wehrlein has actually already made his way up into 2nd place briefly there before Vettel re-overtook him. But it's a bit of a side-by-side affair between Wehrlein and Vettel on that first lap there. And I think Wehrlein actually comes out on top. The guys he was racing, the 2 Ferraris, they're on the soft compound tyres. So Wehrlein was able to strike there because he had the faster of the 2 compounds on there. But we have a yellow flag going through the Ascari chicane. You can see those guys 3 wide through there. And Raikkonen is gone. He's in the wall. I think he's lost a bit of his front wing. You can see on the replay, he goes for a move up the inside into Ascari, cuts the chicane a little bit there, and we're going to have to take that back. We're going to have to take it back and have a look at it in slow motion. You can see Raikkonen in the double slipstream, pulls to the inside. But there's really no way for three cars to go through there. Raikkonen cuts the corner and then uses up way too much track on the exit. Runs into Wehrlein. Wehrlein runs into Vettel. And then the contact back into Raikkonen sends him into the barrier. He raises his hand in frustration, but in all honesty, I think it was his fault. But now we have a safety car at the end of the first lap of this Italian Grand Prix. I had to stop and pause there to see, you know, I had to really think about what I was going to do with the strategy. Like, with the virtual safety car came out initially. No, it wasn't a virtual safety car, sorry. You just have to slow down so much. And that gave me the opportunity just to sit and pause for a few seconds while I thought about coming into the pits, but I decided against it because, yeah, first lap into the race, you just be throwing away track position at this point, and Monza as in itself isn't a track that really takes away from the tyre wear all too much, so I decided to value my track position, stay out on the soft compound tyres, whereas other cars around me, all the cars who started on the super soft tyres, they opted to come in and get rid of their super soft tyres, and if I was in their position, I definitely would have done it, but the soft tyres...
We think there's a viable strategy change available to us. Would you like to keep to the current plan or try the new one?
We have a new strategy being sent to us from the team. They want me to pit onto the super soft tyres. I absolutely don't want to do that. We're going to stick to running on the soft compound tyres. I've had to think about this race backwards a little bit, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch to a 1-stop, believe it or not, because under safety car conditions you essentially get absolutely no tyre wear, and we were 3 laps under safety car there, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend the life of these soft compound tyres for as long as I can, and then switch on to the medium tyres to finish this race and see how that goes. But the restart again has been absolutely perfect. Just like our race start there, we get a massive gap to the cars behind. I opted to just absolutely floor it, run in rich revs, try and pull away as much as I can. This is Esteban Gutierrez, who not long later had a tyre puncture there and just slowly made his way back to the pits there While meanwhile, we're just carrying on. You can see I did a 24.0. It's only 4/10 slower than my fastest lap of the race. So the consistency on these tyres is very good at the moment. This is another replay of another car. I think this is Raikkonen getting tangled up with Rosberg there. We saw a very similar situation last season, but somebody ended up actually in the pit wall. But luckily for those guys, no damage was lost there. Raikkonen lost a lot of time though. But lap 11, this is Esteban Gutierrez, who had his tyre puncture a few laps ago. We lap him already 11 laps into this race, and now at the end of that lap we opt to make our one and only pit stop of this Grand Prix. So we're going to go onto the medium compound tyres and run 15 laps to the finish here. So essentially we've done 12 laps on soft compound tyres. I think we can easily do 15 on a set of mediums and run to the end of this race. So by the looks of things, we're still going to lead as we rejoin on the track here. You'll see from the replay cameras just what the gap is to the cars behind. They're on the start-finish straight there. You can see it's about 10 seconds, maybe 8 seconds to the cars behind, who were Vettel and Verstappen. But only a lap or two later, they came in for their new stop to put on medium tyres. So now, with this, the way that the strategy is played out, essentially we have a... I can't believe this. Like, I can't believe the gap to the cars behind. Essentially, we have a pit stops lead over the guys behind because of their strategy doing a 3-stop while we switch to a 1-stop. And our consistency on older tyres has been absolutely phenomenal. And it means we're going to, without a doubt, probably win this race at this stage, unless there's a safety car or something like that. With the help of DRS, I was actually able to set the fastest lap of the race there on the mediums. And now we're just lapping cars here as we draw a close to this Italian Grand Prix. This is Sergio Perez, I believe. No, it might be Nico Hülkenberg. We'll have to see on board. It is, in fact, Nico Hülkenberg, who gets an engine failure, but then he pulls off to the side a little bit too quickly, loses his front left tyre. No safety car was drawn out for that. Only a local yellow as we zoomed past. So, and again, another incident. This is Kimi Raikkonen, who lost his engine as well, and his race went up in a puff of dust. So that essentially has been this Italian Grand Prix. I apologise that there's been absolutely no racing on my part, like we've just lapped cars. It's just been a really dominant performance. Switching on to the 1-stop, yeah, like I said, one of my most dominant performances of the season, of this entire career mode, sorry. And we had a little bit of excitement here towards the finish here as we caught up to some lap cars who were, in a bit of a battle. I tried to lap as many of those guys as I could, but here we go across the line to win the Italian Grand Prix. Very, very dominant.
That's the race win.
Anthony, what do you think made the difference here?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
Here they are now, the drivers are on their way out after that spectacular race. You know, there's a lot of love for this team in the paddock and all over the world. What a victory here from Manor.
So there we go, guys. That has been the Italian Grand Prix. Normally one of the quickest races of the season. And it definitely felt like that as well when I drove this race. It just went by in like a flash. I was, constantly pushing myself to build out the gap as much as I could as that race went on. The consistency above anything else on the older tyres is what probably won us this race. We were able to stay only like within a few tenths of our fastest lap when we were really pushing towards the end of our stints there. The AI really just made some bad calls in terms of strategy. I think they came in one too many times, and yeah, it definitely helped that we had some very good top-end speed there in this race. So that's been the Italian Grand Prix. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. Like I said, I'm very, very sorry that there were absolutely no on-track overtakes. But what can you do when you have a dominant race like that? It's definitely not going to be the case for the rest of the season. This is definitely our strongest track. And yeah, I definitely made sure I made full use of that winning this race. It's exactly the kind of race that I needed to extend the championship out to 34 points over Daniel Ricciardo. Pascal Wehrlein actually lost some ground there to Max Verstappen. Vettel moves up a place as well. So the championship is looking very interesting. You could almost say we have one hand on the trophy, but I'm definitely going to need those 34 points that I have up my sleeve at the moment, because Red Bull are still ahead of us in the overall car performance, even though we've pretty much put all the upgrades on the car apart from fuel efficiency. They're still in front of us, and they still have room to put some upgrades on the car. So they're going to continue to develop their car, and they're only going to get faster. So when we get to tracks that suit their car more, they're definitely going to rack up a few wins. So it's going to be interesting to see how that dynamic entails for the rest of the season, whether they can chase down that lead that I have at the moment. But yeah, that all remains to be seen. That is it for this episode for the Italian Grand Prix Season 2 of F1 2016 Career Mode. For those people who ask occasionally, yes, this is still Ultimate Difficulty. A lot of people who are new to the series come on board and they don't really know what's going on here. So the Mana car fully upgraded essentially performance-wise. You know, there's only fuel efficiency we can do now, which only gives us a slight advantage in the race. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough fight for the remaining 8-9 races, whatever it is, for the rest of this season. That's been this video for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And until my next video, I'll see you guys next time.